Auschwitz was the largest camp established by the Germans during World War II. More than 1 million people died there between 1940, when it was built, and 1945, when it was liberated by the Soviet Army. As silly as it may seem, Nazis seem to think that they had a good reason for creating these horrible places. They said that they built them in order to imprison and eliminate what they called the enemies of the state. These concentration camps were one of the main reasons of why World War II started. Many other countries realized that what the Nazis were doing was wrong and that someone had to stop it. Countries such as the US intervened in this war in order to stop this horrible injustice. Concentration camps had various consequences. They were one of the main reasons of why World War II started, because many countries started to think that what the Nazis were doing was inhumane, so they thought they had to do something about it in order to help the people that were being affected. These places caused many people to hate Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. There is not an exact number of deaths caused by concentration camps, but millions of people were killed because of this, and many others were tortured. Not only physically, but also mentally, because even though there were many people who survived, they were traumatized for life with what they saw, heard, or what they suffered. These events led to the creation of various human rights. Germany lost its power, and many countries turned against them. These tragic events violated various human rights articles, such as Article 1, we are all free and equal. Article 3, the right to life. Article 4, no slavery. Article 5, no torture. And other articles which include 6, 7, 9, 12, 18, 19, 25, and 30.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Ruiz and I'm going to talk about Cuban Revolution. The Cuban Revolution started on July 26th of 1953. It started because Castro's revolutionary movement allies against the authoritarian government of Batista. It continued until the rebels finally ousted Batista on January 1st of 1959, and it was the time that it was over. Also, on July 26th, the movement later reformed along communist lines, becoming the Communist Party on October of 1965. Some of the Cuban Revolution has principally three leaders, that it was Ernesto Guevara, Fidel Castro, and Fulgencio Batista. Some of the causes was that the corrupt way that the country was running, people hated Batista and they wanted to remove it, but they were having trouble and problems, economic problems, because of also lack of work and poverty and all that. Cuba also, this is a very important point, Cuba depended economically of US. In also Fidel Castro movement began in 1953, that he attacked Moncada, and this was the first action that led the Cuban Revolution start. And he was in jail, in prison for 15 years. Also, the country was passing through a difficult time because they were very poor. Castro reestablished the Cuban constitution and created free and healthcare and education. Also, with Castro and the government, this created problems between US and Cuba on the economic part, so it created many problems. Also, a consequence that was that Ernesto Guevara, also known as Che Guevara, was killed and sacrificed to his country. Thanks for watching.
Today I will talk about the Rwandan genocide by me, Mauro Jimenez. First of all, the time frame. This misfortune started on April 7, 1994 and finished on July 1994. Description of the Rwandan genocide. When the Belgians had colonies in Rwanda, they separated the Rwandan tribes by their physics, and the Hutus and the Tutsis. When they got the independence, the Hutus were in the government. They killed the president, so they took advantage to start already planned the genocide against the Tutsis.
So, what is the actual difference between a Hutu and a Tutsi?
According to the Belgian colonists, the Tutsis are taller, are more elegant. It was the Belgians that created the division.
How?
They picked people, those with thinner noses, lighter skin. They used to measure the width of people's noses. The Belgians used the Tutsis to run the country. Then when they left the power to the Hutus. And of course, the Hutus took revenge on the elite Tutsis for years of repression.
The region was Rwanda. The main leaders of this conflict were Augustin Bizimungu, George Rusaganda, Augustin Bismania, Bernard Mungashi, most of the important causes of this genocide were the discrimination, the separation of the people by the Belgians when they were settled there, death of the Rwandan president Juvenal Habyarimana, a Hutu, when the plane was shot down above Kigali airport on 6th of April 1994.
Listen to me, good people of Rwanda. Terrible news.
It is true.
Horrible news. Our great president is murdered by the Tutsi cockroaches. They tricked him to sign their phony peace agreement. Then they shot his plane from the sky. It is time to clear the brush, good Hutus of Rwanda. We must cut the tall trees. Cut the tall trees now!
The soldiers are here!
Let us go to work, loyal Hutus.
No. Everyone, stay calm. Stay calm and be quiet.
Find these traitors. Let none of them escape.
The tensions between the majority Hutus and the Tutsis. The Belgian colonial rule, which rewarded the Tutsis with a Western education and denied the political, economic power to the Hutus. Rwandan independence in 1963, when the Tutsis were discriminated against and went into the exile in Uganda. The Civil War, when the Tutsis returned to Rwanda in 1990, a civil war broke out, ending a ceasefire signed by the Hutu president. This brings this consequence: 500,000 and 1 million deaths of Hutus in majority Tutsis. mass migration, economic crisis, diseases, return of the refugees, environmental destruction,